Well, it's been over a week since I touched on Shantae's lore and how WayForward could improve. But there is one thing you may have noticed while I was talking about the writing. The quality of the writing is something to behold. Aside from key moments in Seven Sirens such as Rottytops and Brains, anyone? Hello everyone, Obscure Titan here with another essay video. In my previous video regarding Shantae, I discussed how the series' writing could improve with Seven Sirens out for a year and a half now. However, I want to focus on one character that has proven to be one of WayForward's best written characters in the series, and everyone's favorite for that matter, Rottytops. Rottytops is, in my opinion, the best written character in the series. From having a character arc to subtle contributions to the series and how her involvement in the future could open doors for WayForward's writers to really take advantage of. I want to break down this essay into parts on how Rottytops has proven to not only being WayForward's most well-developed character, but also a clear pathway for the company's writing team to take notes for other characters. I should warn you all about this though. This will be spoiler heavy. To anyone who hasn't seen the games, played any of them, or even planned on doing so, I suggest you play the games first and then come back to watch this video. For everyone else who has, keep on watching. Let's get started. In 2002, Rottytops makes her first appearance in the Game Boy Color game. She only appeared once as Shantae arrived to the zombie caravan, only at night in the swamps level. Shantae asks her where another dungeon is, but won't reply until she agrees to beat her in a race, with the condition that if Shantae wins, she can get to the dungeon. If not, Rotty gets to devour her brain. This results to a different level where the player needs to beat Rottytops in a race. Perfect timing and precise response and controls will result to a win. It's not much, but a good way to introduce the character. Rottytops is portrayed as manipulative and mischievous, as well as reckless, but her character gets fleshed out more as we get further into the series. This is where Rottytops' character gets fleshed out more. She makes her comeback in the sequel, where Shantae meets her alongside her wagon pulled by a skeleton horse. She informs Shantae regarding her travels and local cuisine. She asks Rottytops if she knows anything about the magic seals and said no, however she sends her chit-chat spider to the World Wide Web, as if it were a computer made out of spider webs. Throughout the game, Rotty warns Shantae about the Barons and Risky looking for them. It was revealed later on that she and her brothers Abner and Poe kidnapped Mimic for Risky Boots in return for a big supply of coffee, along with Shantae's brain. Things didn't go well for the zombies as the brothers leave to avoid trouble, and Rotty, feeling ashamed that she betrayed Shantae, flees crying. Things took a turn for Rottytops' character where it delves into both good and bad sides. We can see how manipulative and mischievous she can be even at the expense of Shantae's well-being. But we can also see her caring side as she really does care for the half-genie hero, who lost her powers near the end of the game before facing her dark clone, Negative Shantae. Rottytops' role significantly balloons as Pirate's Curse came around and has played several key factors in not only the game's storyline, but the series onwards. At first, Shantae meets her, who gets tied in the spider web at Spiderweb Island. After defeating a boss in the game, Shantae, after being persuaded by Rottytops' plea to carry her, agrees to help her back home. Of course, Rotty's been numbed, and it results to a level where Shantae must avoid enemies and get her zombie friend home. However, it's revealed that her legs were actually fine all along and just got Shantae to do all the work for her. In one level, Rottytops goes to Tan Lion Temple and gets mistaken for a princess. However, she seems to enjoy the dress she's given, implying her willingness to embrace the customs that the palace and that island offered. This, of course, is also a key factor for Rotty to having a thing for cosplaying, which we'll get into later. Later on in the game, Shantae visits Rotty's soul in the Village of Lost Souls and asks for help to tell who it belongs to. Rotty's human form is what fans have speculated to be who and what she looked like before death, and it really opened doors for the zombie's characterization to flourish. Not only we have witnessed the bad side of Rottytops, but also the good in her. It's also apparent as more of her personality is shown more earnestly in Pirate's Curse, as it's evident of the game's impact in fanfiction, and even the concerning necrophilia endorsed pairing fan art apparently. While continuing on the subject matter of Rottytops' backstory, according to Miharu the Fox's video on the character, Roddy must have gone through a dark moment in her life. Rottytops' human form straight up said that she feels happy whenever she's asleep, implying that she could have taken her own life or someone must have given her euthanasia. And if you think about it, Roddy's life must have been much darker than we think. But if it isn't, then I don't know what it is. There isn't as much to dive into since the game itself doesn't have as much of a story compared to the others, but it's worth looking into for info. We do see her getting excited over a magic carpet race in which Shantae participates. After Emerald Baron gets defeated, Rottytops suggests the half-genie hero should go into the Hypno Baron's castle to find her brothers to find their zombie hamster, which is required to finish Mimic's machine. One interesting note is that in the Jammies mode, Rottytops happens to be hiding inside Shantae's pillowcase after her battle with Emerald Baron, which explains why it can cause so much damage to their enemies. What's interesting though is the friendship between Shantae and Rottytops. Most people in the series tend to avoid Roddy due to her mischievous behavior, but Shantae doesn't. You could say that Shantae's deal with Roddy might have something to do with Stockholm Syndrome, which doesn't really have much merit when you think about it. But maybe Shantae sees the good in everyone, even Risky Boots herself, which explains why she would have to put up with Rottytops in the first place. Aside from Pirate's Curse, this is one of Roddy's shining moments in the series. When Shantae and her friends arrive to Paradise Island, he comes across several half-genies, including a zombie genie. Shantae tries to get an answer from her, but ran off. As the show was getting started, the half-genies, except for Shantae, disappeared. Unlike the rest of Shantae's friends, and that includes Sky, Rottytops aids the half-genie hero. As Rottytops, under the alias of fill-in-the-blank, Shantae finds out that it's Roddy all along, and gets her to speak the truth. At first, Rottytops believes that Shantae would not want her to come for the vacation, but it's later revealed that Shantae really wanted her to come. The reason why she couldn't find her in the first place was because of the information that was given earlier, Roddy hid in the luggage to be stowed away, to join. One reason why Shantae wasn't captured in the first place was due to Rottytops preventing the Empress Siren from doing so, and Risky Boots lying about her being the weakest of the half-genies. Because of Roddy's lack of genie magic, this got Shantae to defeat the Empress. Before the final battle though, Rottytops guides Shantae to flee the sunken ship, and this is where Rottytops becomes both more likable and developed compared to everyone else in the series, going toe-to-toe with Shantae's development, only having one attribute being that everything else that made her interesting, where there is potential for her involvement, and for the series in general. You don't necessarily need Pirate's Curse to improve on Rottytops' character, and it worked well in Seven Sirens. Roddy did what she could do to make up for her mistakes, much better than Star Giant could ever do. At least she never had to make skits in order to avoid more backlash than necessary. I mean, you have to be truly genuine to repent for your past mistakes. It's something I like to see in the future for Rottytops and everyone else in the series as everything from her small role in the GBC game to a bigger one in Seven Sirens unfold. While I still think that the recent entries, specifically Half-Genie Hero and Seven Sirens, don't offer much potential for story building, Rottytops is an exception. Not only has her characterization some of WayForward's best writing in any games they make, but also proves them a chance to use it for other characters as well. The next game or two should be the ones to get the next step. I'd even dare to say that Rottytops is a better friend for Shantae than Sky herself. As contradicting as it might sound, Sky has regressed from someone who used to be Shantae's most reliable ally in the GBC game to some girl looking for a boyfriend to take care of her in Pirate's Curse to stuck-up whiner in Seven Sirens. Something similar to how Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi regressed into a horrible stuck-up hermit in that way, though Sky's isn't nearly as egregious obviously. But this is something that I'm hoping for with WayForward to get towards. While their sales, merchandise, and even gameplay, depending on preference, is improving, the story writing is in need of much of it. And as long as we have our favorite zombie in town, all hope is not lost. This is Obscure Titan, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Over and out.